guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I thought I would make a quick video on how to replace your injectors in a 12 valve Cummins, specifically the 1 gen. So here it is. We got a 93 W250. Before we begin, I just want to show you guys some cool stuff I've been working on. I finally got a set of OEM floor mats. Basically, they were a dealer option back in the 90s, and these things are thick and they're tough and they're awesome and they fit the truck perfectly. A original brand new Banks 3-gauge pot. This isn't the cheap glow shift. This is the real deal. Brand new, hasn't been put in a truck, so there it is. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the old Banks gauges and get that on the road. Just in case you guys haven't seen this before, this is what they call the factory tack. It's actually another dealer option. You know, you go to your Dodge dealer and they'd sell you one of these bad boys. Every 91.5 to 93 first gen Cummins has a plug in the wiring harness that's just kind of dangling underneath the dash there. And then you have a tachometer. So that would just sit up on the dash like that, and you'd be able to see what RPMs you're running. I'll put out a video pretty soon on the hard to find items that came for dealer options and whatnot, and these old 1 gens. If you guys like to see it, make sure to subscribe. All right, let's get to it. All right, so first things first, when it comes to these first gens, you got 6 injectors. They're gonna be just to the left hand side of these valve covers. So you got 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just make sure that before you start wrenching these off, that you go ahead and make sure there's not tons of grease and debris down there. Y'all's could be caked with grease. That's very common for these 12 valves. We're gonna go ahead and remove the bolts for the injector lines that run right along each 6. Let's see, I believe it is a 10 millimeter. So we're gonna go ahead and break those loose and we'll go to that point. All right, so I went ahead and got this line free right here. So we took 6 bolts out that go to each injector, and the bolts look like this. That allows fuel to flow right out the end of that bolt, and that goes into the side of each 6 injectors. So we got that out. Then there's a retaining clip or washer that's gonna go on that line, and I'm gonna go ahead and just replace those. Next step is we're gonna remove the upper injector lines. So you have the first set of 3 and you have the rear set. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a 10 millimeter and I'm just gonna hit the top of these bolts so we get the injector line right here just a little bit loose so we can move it out of the way, and then we'll crack these loose. So you got 10 mil, boom, boom. Got 2 over there, and then the actual injector lines that run to the injector are gonna be a 17 mil. All right guys, so we got that done. I'm gonna show you here. Got the first set of injector lines. I have the second set here towards the back. Those are good. Now, I'm sure a lot of guys just remove the entire lines that go to the VE pump. However, what I'm gonna do is just carefully pick it up and just kind of set it out of the way. So for example, when I'm doing this back injector, I'm just gonna carefully like pick this up, and if I hold it right here, I can easily get that injector out and not have to remove all my lines. Now you just wanna be careful you're not like bending your lines, but like just picking them up just barely, since you have these 2 bolts and also these removed in the front, will allow you to kind of have a little bit of wiggle room, so you can move these lines just up just enough, or to the side just enough to where you can get that injector out. Next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna there's a retaining nut around the injector. So they look like this, and you're gonna need, I believe it is a 24 millimeter will work. So I'm gonna go ahead and just slip over the injector, get all those retaining nuts out, and then we'll go ahead and pull some injectors. All right, so we're about halfway through this process here. I just want to show you a quick tip. So The front ones, we got all those retaining nuts off. The back ones, we broke them all loose and they're almost out of there. So the front ones are super clean. The ones on the back, once I'm getting that nut all the way out of that seat, there's just a bunch of gunk that's right on that. So I want to go ahead and just take a little shot back, try to get as much as we can, try to get some towels, wipe it down. That way, when we take that retaining nut off, it doesn't all fall down in the hole with our injector and clog up anything down there. So we're just gonna hold on and do a little bit of cleaning real quick, and then we'll get the back retaining nuts out and I'll show you the injectors. Let's get it. Okay, so we got all the retaining nuts off. Show you real quick. All we have left are the actual injectors and the injector lines. So what we're gonna do to get these injectors out is I have a little handy dandy injector puller tool. What that is, try to set it out here, is there's basically a sleeve that goes over the injector, this washer that goes on top, and then this nut that is a 19 millimeter that's going to screw onto the injector, and basically as we crank down on that nut, it's going to pull that injector up. Just grab your ratchet. You can also do that with a wrench and slowly crank that nut down. And with any luck, our injector looks like it's spinning pretty good. Must not be very tight in there. That injector is coming straight out. There you go. There it is. Alright, so we cleaned out all the holes where the injectors go into. You want to make sure they're really, really clean. So I'll show you what I did. Basically, I got ripped a section of paper towel, folded it in like fourths, and then got a little bit of brake cleaner and sprayed it on there. And then I grabbed a screwdriver, and then as you twist it and slowly slide it down that hole, it cleans it out really, really well. It's nice and shiny. No gunk or debris can be found. Got my neon signs rolling. Went ahead and went inside and I cleaned these off really good. There's gonna be an O-ring that some people decide to put in there, some people don't, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in. So here's, recommend you getting all new washers and O-rings and everything. Here's a brand new injector that we have that we're gonna be putting in. So it already has the brand new washer, but just make sure if you're cleaning up some older ones or whatever that you put on a little bit of you can put a little bit of grease and then slide that washer on in and you'll be good to go. Got all the injectors prepped, got the sleeves prepped, went ahead and put in those rubber washers, and also I went ahead and put a little grease in there. I noticed the old ones, when I took them out, just were brittle and cracked into a million pieces. So that's why I did that. And man, they look good. They look like some missiles ready to fire. All right, so I went ahead and just placed those injectors right in there. One thing to note is my back two injectors were getting a little bit gunky. I think maybe one of those seals is starting to go for the back two. But anyway, they also get exposure to water because they're close to the cowl, they're close to the end of the hood. So good old Uncle Wally was telling me earlier that it'd be smart to put a little bit of anti-seize right around here. Prevents a little bit of that water from getting down in there and getting mixed with your fuel and all that fun stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of anti-seize there on both those back two injectors, throw them in the hole, and then we're gonna go ahead and put these sleeves, drop those sleeves on. And now we are going to torque them down. So Cummins says 44 foot-pounds. So we're gonna go 44, see what happens, and then we're gonna bleed lines. All right, let's do it. All right, we're gonna grab our return line washers, and we're gonna go ahead and put those on and screw in all your return line bolts. So let's get that done. So we got everything back together. We have the bolts on the sides with the washers. Those are all good to go. Now we have to bleed the lines. So what we're gonna do for that is I went ahead and just screwed on the injector lines on the top here, just snug, and then I backed it off about 1 revolution, so about 1 turn on every single one. And then I'm gonna go ahead and try to start the truck real fast, and we're gonna see a lot of diesel flying, just because it's under high pressure and we're trying to get the air out. So got a bunch of rags here. I'm just gonna put them along the valve cover and then also along the manifold. Crank the key for about 5 to 10 seconds. Let's go ahead and get those lines taken care of, and we'll try to start her again. And again, that is a 17 mil. So I'm gonna come in here and just kind of snug them down. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think they are about 22 foot-pounds. That's what we're seeing online. It could be 18 to 22, but makes sense with them being about half of what the retaining nuts are. You can see all that diesel that was leaking up top. Diesel and air coming out. That's what we want, all the air out. All right, we tightened all the lines, so now we're just gonna give her a crank and see if she starts. Well, she still kind of sounds like crap, so we're gonna go ahead and see if we can bleed them again real quick. All right, so there's probably still a little bit of air in the lines, so I'm just gonna try to start her up again, let her idle for about 30 seconds, maybe bump up the RPMs to around 1500, hold it there a little bit and see if it clears up. If it doesn't, then maybe it's one of these lines that's maybe the middle two that I don't have a ton of diesel around them. Looks like there's diesel around most of them. Maybe there's still some air in the lines. So let's hit it, see what happens. Looks like we lost our light here, and she's chug-a-lugging. Still got a low lug. I went ahead and cracked them all loose and bled it again, 10 seconds each. 2 times. As you can see, valve covers and everything are dry, but the diesel shot up and hit. It was cool, like each injector line, it was like a different sequence for when the diesel was going. It was pretty cool. It was like every other one, and it would like fly up and then the next one would go and stuff. So yeah, it splattered pretty good. Let's see if we can get the GoPro out of the line of fire, and we'll see if she purrs. taking a video with my phone, but yeah, I think she sounds a lot better. Just gonna go ahead and shut it off because we got some steam coming from the old exhaust. That would be the diesel that got all over. So we're gonna go ahead and brake clean everything, let this garage clear out, and we're gonna wrap it up. So that's about it. I'm glad that it worked out, man. Bleeding those lines really sucks, but something we all got to do. So now you know how to do it, and you can learn from my mistakes. Yeah, guys, if you haven't already, give this video a big thumbs up. A lot of hard work went into it. If you haven't already, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Keep her tuned.